Andrew, great to chat to you.
Yeah, you do.
How have the preparations been going?
It's been going quite well, yeah. Like it's been an enjoyable couple of weeks now. Tough weeks of pre-season under our belt, and a game, and training a match against Portugal when we were training over there. So it's we've had quite a lot of work done over the last couple of weeks, and kind of a lot of work we can be proud of.
Is the goal that you need to be hitting the ground running when the World Cup starts? And then obviously you're aware that there's Southern Hemisphere nations whose season is differently structured, and you're coming at it from a different angle.
I think momentum's huge when you're coming into World Cup. Obviously, our structure of our season is a lot different to that of Southern Hemisphere teams. So we'll be looking to kind of really push for in these pre-season games. Like some people see them as pre-season friendlies, but they're quite the opposite. They're games where you can really gauge where you're at, and at this point in the season, and you're really trying to push the boundaries to try and make up for that time you've had off, and try build to where we left off in the Six Nations.
In the time that you had off, you also joined the ranks of the married men.
Which is
quite a gang.
Yeah.
Was that a good fun, good day?
Yeah. It was one of the best days of my lives. Yeah, it was incredible. Like it flies by, in fairness, and I was told that before, but it's an incredible day, and one of many men over the summer. So
we have a very settled squad of married men growing up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Is it a happy camp? We hear a lot about. I think shortly after Andy came in, Peter O'Mahony talked about how much he enjoyed the environment around it. Do you enjoy, because you have to spend a lot of time together, especially in times like this? Do you enjoy each other's company?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it's hugely important to obviously be able to enjoy your time in here. Like you said, we're spending so much time around each other. Like we're going to be spending hopefully 2 full months together over in France. So it's incredibly important to be able to enjoy yourself in this environment, and I think that's something that all the coaches, all the players really bought into. And when we're on and when we're working, we're putting the head down, we're focused. But when we're off the pitch, we can kind of relax a bit, enjoy each other's company, and really kind of soak in the atmosphere, soak in the kind of the energy of the environment, and create those kind of bonds that you need off the field to be able to perform on it.
Is that something that Andy Farrell has purposely tried to create, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think like when he came in, he was very much kind of, I think he knew from his playing days exactly what it was like to be in this kind of environment and how stressful it can be. And I think he's trying to kind of, like I said, he wants us to work when we're on, but he also wants us to kind of to be able to switch off and kind of enjoy our time in here, and not have it as being kind of something that kind of induces anxiety when you could be always on. So he wants you to be able to switch off and kind of be able to enjoy each other's company, and kind of have that bit of crack as well off the field. He
sounds like quite an enlightened coach, but does he ever lose his rag?
No. Don't know if I'm allowed to say it. No. He's an incredible coach, and like I think though kind of where we are now kind of says a lot about him, and I think there wouldn't be really a player in the squad that have a really bad word to say about him. Like it's incredible what he's done with this team, and kind of like a lot of the lads go out there and would die for him. Like at the end of the day, like, and I think that's just says so much about his character and how much he carries himself, and a lot of respect for him.
That's quite a statement, that a lot of players would feel that strongly about a coach. Is that because he coaches on is a connection on a human level, and not just as a rugby player?
Yeah, I think that's nearly the majority of what it is. It's a lot of it is the relationship with the player off the field. Like he's more than willing to pull a player aside and have a chat with him. Not even just about rugby. It's also about their personal life. How are you getting on in your personal life? How are you going? Like if you might be carrying something that people don't know. He'd be more than willing to sit down and chat to you about that. So it's I think that's a huge part of a coach's role. Obviously, I'm not a coach, so I wouldn't really know it from that perspective. But I think that's something he's really done quite well, is build that relationship off the field with players.
You've spoken in the past, and indeed you've campaigned and raised a lot of awareness around mental health issues, and various campaigns and talking about your own issues in the past. Is it something that rugby is now a good environment for people to, that it's a healthy environment in terms of your mental health as a player?
Yeah, I think so. Even since I've started playing rugby, I think it's really turned the corner in the sense that I think players are more willing to open up to each other and to their coaches, or to seek help and if they need it. So I think it's made huge strides in that sense, where people are more open to looking for help when they need it.
You go over to this World Cup with the world ranking #1, whatever that's worth, but as one of the favourites with Six Nations Grand Slam and everything you achieved last year in 2022 as well. Does that bring pressure with it? And I wonder how that sort of idea that we have of these players may be under a lot of pressure, how do you deal with that as a squad?
Yeah, like if you allow it to build pressure, that's what it can do. But we're not looking at it in terms of we're going into this as the #1 team of the world. Like a lot of players know from experience anything can happen in a World Cup and things might not go to plan. So you just have to kind of be ready for kind of all eventualities in a tournament like this. So we'll just be looking to take each game as it comes. I know it's quite cliche, but it is. We've got a huge games in pre-season. That'll really kind of be a good litmus test of where we're at, and kind of be able to show where we're at the start of the World Cup. So, like I said, like it's a huge tournament where anything can happen. So all we can do is take each game as it comes. And
that's that I mean, people in all the previews you'll read, they'll talk about Ireland's quarter-final hoodoo, or things that have gone wrong in the warm-up games in the past and all that. Does that help you to sort of do you throw all that in the bin to a certain extent?
Well, yeah, you have to. Like at the end of the day, you just kind of have to focus on what we've built in the last few years since our last World Cup, what we've done, what we've achieved. People talk about peaking too early and things like that, but I think that's nonsense. I think it's you have to keep building up momentum. You have to make it a habit of going into this thing and making a habit of winning.
And all that, with all that in mind, you do know, I'm sure, as everybody knows on the outside looking in, how tough it's going to be. Your pool is tough. Potential scenarios down the line, if you get out of your pool, are also potentially very tough as well. So I guess that is something that is just a fact of what's ahead of you in the next few months.
Yeah, I suppose it's not really news. Like we've known our pool. We've known all eventualities. If what happens if we top our pool, if we come second in our pool, we know what the challenges are ahead of us, and all that we can really do is prepare ourselves physically but most of all mentally. And I think that's what a lot of the coaches in here. We have a great mental skills coach in Gary Keegan here that's really helping lads kind of build that mental fortitude and kind of having that mental preparedness. And obviously we need to be physically prepared. That's what the coaches are here to do as well. So I think a lot of the players here are mentally and physically ready for those challenges.
In terms of getting ready for those challenges, I read that you are part of the front row heavy metal fan club. Is that right?
It's a small group, yeah. It's a very small group. It might just be me.
Membership 1?
Yeah. I'll be looking to build membership now soon. So.
Gets you in the mood.
Exactly, yeah.
How satisfying has it been that you have matched up to big front rows in terms of opposition in the last few years? Maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, people might have said maybe that's an area that teams can get at Ireland, and that hasn't been the case over the last year or so.
Yeah, I think it's hugely encouraging for us. When we've come up against some of the best teams in the last 12 or 18 months, it really stands to us in terms of building that confidence for a lot of players, and especially for players who haven't played in the World Cup yet, where the magnitude of these games is huge. So being able to come into a World Cup with the confidence of being able to beat some of the best teams over the last few years is, I think it's incredibly special. I think, especially like as a forward pack, it breeds a lot of confidence as well in the squad.
Last one for me then, Andrew. We've talked a lot about the preparations and how hard it's going to be. Is there a belief that all going well, that this squad is capable of winning this World Cup?
100%, yeah. I think that's from 4 years ago. when Faz first came in, that's what we were talking about. That's what we've been building towards, and as you can see over the last couple of years, we've been kind of taking things off as we go along. So it's already been a huge year for Irish Rugby this year, and like even the last 12 months, and hopefully we can keep building into this World Cup and make a bit of history.